What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Hussle, and yes, it's the best money in credit channel on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell. So whenever I drop new sauce, new lessons, new methods, and giveaways, you'll be the first one to be notified. You'll be the first one to know what's going on. And you might be the first one to win something for free. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell so you won't miss out on nothing. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. All you gotta do is click the title on every video. Once you click the title on every video, at the bottom in the description, all my social media links will pop up. All right. Got a lot of fake King Hustle pages out there, so please get a FaceTime verification call or video to make sure you see this face. Make sure you are doing legit business and you are getting what you paid for, right? And before we get anything started, this is all educational purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything. Sure. Let's get this thing started. Hey, let's get this thing started. Hey, what to do, my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, my real Hustle Nation Empire family members. And we are back at it again with the gems, back at it again with the sauce, back at it again with the information that's going to turn you into a boss. So you tired of being a zero? You ready to be a family hero? Listen up, take a seat, get your notepad and get your pen, because you already know when I drop these videos and y'all get these notifications, it's going to be some information that's going to help you win or keep you entertained. So with that being said, we got another King Hustle Crazy reaction video today. And in today's reaction video, drum roll, please. We got investigating the dark web money making methods. Now, a lot of people ask me about the dark web, ask me to talk about the dark web, and that is because a lot of people know where I come from. I originally started YouTube talking about the dark web, talking about scams, fraud, because I was a kid on the dark web and it turned me into a ethical hacker. Let's put it like that. An ethical hacker. And we all know ethical hackers are the good hackers, the white hats. You got white hats, gray hats, black hats. White hats are pure ethical, pure good. Then you got the gray hats that's in the middle. Then you got the black hats that's strictly all bad. Hacker, hack your information, sell your information, steal your information, all different things like that. All right. So a lot of people ask me about these things because I know about them. I know about cybersecurity. I know about hacking. I know about coding. I know about computers and systems and SOCs, proxies, DNSs, HTTPs, and things like this. I know about these things, which results into allowing people to utilize these tools to do certain scams, from methods and cash app glitch and cryptos and certain different things like that. Right. So that's the world that I come from. That's the world that I know. And as I matured myself, matured my brain, me being who I am, and I want to figure out ways how to make money and also want to make money the right way, I figured out and learned about credit. Understanding that credit is the number one money game in the world, and credit will allow you to become successful. Allow credit will allow you to utilize the bank's money and invest into the things that you want to invest in, instead of working hard and utilizing your money, because everything doesn't always succeed when in the business world. Every business doesn't always become multi-million dollar businesses. Some businesses fail. And understanding that, you don't want to invest into a business utilizing your own money and that business fails. And now you got to go back to ground zero, doing whatever that you did, working hard and grinding to get that money back to do it again. No, when you can get your credit together, credit profile, and utilize the bank's money, invest in that product. And if it don't, it don't. But you still got your money that you made. And we all know what goes on when it comes to that. People file bankruptcies, and then people understand how bankruptcies work, and then, so it's all just a 360 circle and loophole of credit and money in this world that a lot of people just don't understand. That's a lot of people out there understanding and learning. And then it's a lot of people learning how corrupt the world is when it comes to fraud, scams, and methods in the dark web, because the dark web is real. A lot of people are on the dark web. A lot of things happen on the dark web. There's a lot of things that you can buy and see on the dark web that are mainly illegal. You got illegal documents that's being presented. You got illegal videos that's being presented. You got illegal drugs that's being presented. You got illegal financial services that's being presented for people to go on there and potentially buy and see. So the dark web is real. Scams and fraud has been up over 600 to 800% since COVID-19. A lot of people are trying to commit fraud or doing fraud in today's world because a lot of people are broke. A lot of people are needing for money. A lot of people are in a lot of different situations. So in today's video, we're going to watch this video. Shout out to, let me give them a shout out, because no copyright, no copyright, no, you know what I mean? Like, fair use. This all reaction, commentary. Shout out to I Am Lucid, 1 million subscribers. Make sure you guys go check him out. This is his video that we are going to react to today. I am Lucid on YouTube. That is I am LUCID. I'm giving as much shout out and credit as I can to make sure they know. And if you know what I'm saying, because it get real out here in the field. So we're gonna react. We're gonna commentate. Fair use, no copyright. Let's get into this reaction video of the dark web, right? So let's get it.
So I went on the dark web myself to figure out how people are actually making money. And the first method is from credit cards. It's called carding. And it's the most interesting way that these scammers make money on the dark web. And if you're not careful enough, your info could end up in their hands too.
Now, carding is definitely a popular scam that has been around for a long time, because like I tell you guys, wherever there's money being made, there's going to be some type of scam, fraud, or scheme being committed. And debit cards and credit cards are basically money on a card. So the money on a card is connected to it's a card that's connected to an account that has money in it. So people try to get those card numbers to be able to access that account to get the money from people. And like I said, the world is ran by people. People are in positions to be able to get people's information from working at banks, working at call centers, working at all these different places where people have to handle our personal information. And everybody's human. You can't dictate what's going through somebody's head and what's going on in somebody's life, which will make them want to do something. They can be an upstanding citizen, but you never know. It might be that one time their life is hard and they just resorted to something that, you know, could possibly make them some quick, fast cash. So carding is definitely a popular scam that's been going on for a long time. Carding and check fraud is definitely the most aged scams and frauds schemes that's been happening for a long time.
So this is where people go on the dark web to buy credit cards. This is just one of the sites that are on there, and I can't verify how authentic these actually are, but we have many. This is probably the best looking site I've seen. They have a proof section. Let's see what that looks like, if there's any testimonials or whatever. Market for over 10 years. Okay, this looks a little bit sus, but they have videos on the dark web. What? What the heck is this? These guys are watching everything. Oh my God. Is there any audio to this? What the heck kind of videos?
These are dark websites.
This is photos of a guy that has like a bunch of credit cards
on the dark web. If you were to go on there,
let's see this video.
Hey, bro,
so they place their watermark
my videos, bro.
They're all small, like 1 second long videos. Can't guarantee if they're actually real, but I guess these guys are like cashing out, and so they basically do credit card fraud. They go to a real ATM and then they cash out money from that credit card so they can take it in cash right away. This guy's also doing a cash out. Let's see. Okay, interesting. So this is his proof page, and he also has email address, FAQ section. So this is the pricing page, as far as it seems. Also have digital cards, like
they got the prices, they got cards, like
prepaid
dark
websites,
is like dark websites back in the day. Listen, dark websites back in the day used to be horrible. When I say horrible, I mean like you can literally look and like, man, this site is fake. But now with the invention and the creation and the life of AI, dark websites are looking more realer than they ever have. They actually look like real sites with real, like they look like this, like a real life site, just like this. And some of them are real, some of them are fake. You would never know until you find out.
Transfers Western Union and shipping with an actual tracking number. Okay, but they also have an escrow service. So it says we understand that there are a lot of scammers in the deep web, so we are ready to accept your order via escrow. They have the escrow, which is 5% commission, multi, which is 6%, and then your escrow. You can offer an escrow you trust. That's making me honestly believe that this may be a real carding website. Like that's a legit one, because if you're able to do your own escrow that you trust, there's basically no way that they could scam you. An escrow is basically a site that allows you to send the money to them. They hold the money until the order has been delivered, everything looks good, and then they pay the seller.
So like it might be a
so you
real
can't really
dark
get scammed if you're
website
using your own escrow technically.
You don't get nothing, get your money back. If you do,
is it safe to receive the cards to my address? So my last video, I talked a little bit about this. All cards are safe for delivery. We make sure to send the cards in safe packages, such as greeting cards, magazines, and more. In addition, our cards look exactly like regular credit cards with high quality of printing and embossing. And so
now, like I told you guys before, the sophistication of scamming and fraud is elevating. The evolution of scamming and fraud is becoming more. How do I want to put this? More creative, right? So there are now places where you can go on the dark web or there are people on the dark web that are now creating these cars, the white cars, and now they're making them actual bank cards, meaning that they're getting templates, they're finding and compromising, doing whatever they're doing to get these templates to real banks, and they're making cards utilizing that template. So it looks like a real bank card, and they're stealing and getting this credit card information and putting the information on that card and putting it on the back of the card. And it's like a real life bank card from a Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, really any bank that you need. So that's the techniques and the evolution of these scams and fraud is definitely on the rise. Is definitely rising and more sophisticated, more sharper, more cleaner, and more realer, which is making the vulnerability of these companies higher for scammers and fraudsters to be able to obtain revenue utilizing these scams.
To disguise their packaging in a way that looks like, the USPS driver wouldn't think anything of it. So on their FAQ page, it says, why don't you withdraw by yourself? And that's honestly a really good question. If it's such a good deal, why are you even selling these things to begin with? Of course, we do withdraw by ourselves, but we cannot cash much money in one small city because it is dangerous. It is also very dangerous to cooperate with agents in other cities because they can be the police. It is easier and safer for us to deal with the sale. We also believe in Bitcoin and hope to get rich with it. Sounds a bit sus. Now we're on another deep website, and they have a lot of different stuff. So they have credit cards, gift cards, money transfers, even illegal things I'm not going to press on right over here. And these sites are beginning to look really good on the deep. I've not seen sites that look like this in a long time on the deep web with like animations, your mouse moves over it, and like different objects.
And that's because the introduction of AI. AI is places and sites where you can go to just type in what you want and it'll create it for you. And they're even doing them for websites now. So AI is definitely changing the game, especially for scammers and fraudsters.
Did not know they were advancing this fast. Typically, sites look really bad on the deep web. So here they have a bunch of different sellers, which I don't really trust, to be totally honest with you. A lot of these sites that have different sellers are all low-key the same exact seller just scamming you. And so I can't ever, verify these are really real. But let's see what they show up here. Royal Card, offering top card services, MasterCard, Visa, Premium Amex prepaid card. I don't know if Amex even has a prepaid card. And look at all these reviews they got. They show all of these reviews, all 5 stars. I can't tell if they're real or not real, but every single review is a 5-star. A little bit sus. As many as 3 cards and everything went well in the end. February 2022. 2,047 sales. Return rate is 2%. You can return these cards? There's no way. Yeah, with sites like this, you can't ever really guarantee. These really could all be fake reviews. 5-star service. Will shop here again. Delivery to Italy for these guys took 3 days. Not bad. I don't know. I can't tell. I really can't tell. So we're on a different site right now. These guys also got credit cards over here. They have different sellers, I guess, which I don't know if they're actually real. They also have hacking. F Society, the name from the one show, Mr. Robot. I doubt these guys are actually really. DDoS Pro sounds like a.
On the dark web, it's different services that you can potentially buy, and hacking, quote unquote, is a service on the dark web that you can definitely potentially buy. I don't know. You never know until you go in there and see. So it gets real on the dark web.
Good name. See, let's just view this guy. Return rate is 5%. We are a professional team of programmers. We have been working on the dark web for over 5 years. We complete all assigned tasks on time without delays. We specialize exclusively in social media and are experts in our field. So why do you say WhatsApp, email, and more? That's not social media, but whatever. This is for sure fake. To hack someone's email or even hack someone's Instagram account for $200, that's nothing. There's no way. Like even this site on the dark web, next generation prepaid cards are not just a phrase. They are real anonymous bank cards with a balance. That was written by ChatGPT, 100%. I can
told
tell that was written by
ChatGPT and
AI because
AI.
it negated something and then gave the full statement after. They're not just this, they're that. All right, whatever, buddy. And yep, they got all these listings of cards
Those
over
are
here
blank
too.
cards.
Sold out. And they also got 2 reviews. Same exact questions that the first site had. Something's going on here. This dark website, Next Gen Cards, has the same exact FAQ question as the first site we were just on. Remember this site where it says, why don't you withdraw by yourself? And like, oh, we can't in our small city. These guys, the same exact thing. Of course, we withdraw money for ourselves, just as they had it written, but only in small amounts. We can't withdraw larger sums of money in our cities as it could attract attention. It's more profitable for us to just sell part of the funds and receive payment in cryptocurrency. There are reviews being made on this one every single day. This is today. This is also today, allegedly.
Those are
you guys deliver cards to Nigeria. How are you asking that question if you've already purchased and you're already a buyer? Pretty sussed out by these guys. Their goal isn't just to buy any average credit card, but they want to buy a quality card that has a really high spending limit so these scammers can make the most amount of profit possible. Now, on these marketplaces, they look for different BINs, which stand for bank identification numbers. It's basically the first.
Now, bank identification numbers scammers and fraudsters use to manipulate cards. So they change the BIN numbers on cards and then they do different scams. FYI, the Cash App glitch. Scammers and fraudsters get different BIN numbers, link them to cards, link those cards to the Cash App and make it glitch. And what I mean glitch it's tricking and it's confusing the Cash App to just like load money onto the account. So it's a lot of different things because it's all technology based. Anything technology based can be manipulated, can be hacked, can be, you know, can you can do a lot of different things. And people are utilizing and manipulating all these different apps and systems to do all this different type of scam and fraud stuff. Most scams and frauds are in the IT world. Low level scams like card and check fraud are the lowest of the lowest. So most scams and fraud scams and things like that actually come from like IT's computer database network, things like that.
First 6 digits of a card, which is enough to tell you which card type it is. For instance, Amex Platinum has the same BIN, or Chase Sapphire Reserve has its own BIN, and each card type starts with those first same 6 digits. So once they're in the expensive credit card BIN, they buy a number of fulls, which is basically a full credit card info. Their full name, credit card number.
Not actually. Fulls can be somebody's full information also. So it don't have it's people use different terminologies for different things. Put it like that.
For CVV, expiration date, and even billing address. And sometimes their social security number even show up in these fulls so the scammers can act like it's actually them making the purchase. As Detroit rapper TJX6 famously once said, the government tried to ban me from the dark web. I downloaded Tor browser, then got back in, went and got a VPN, just bought another bin. I actually asked TJX6 if I could use his song in one of my videos about 6 years ago. He was like, hell yeah, bro, I appreciate it. Go ahead. And then I came to the realization that if I use his song, he's probably just going to end up copyright claiming me and scamming me. No, I doubt it. But you never know if he's going to do it. So I didn't ever use his song. So these scammers are actually deeply worried about the stolen card being traced back to them because only a matter of time before it gets blocked. So they have to figure out some sort of method of spending this money and receiving the item, of course, without shipping it to their actual house address. Otherwise, they'd go to prison the next morning. So that they can at least receive the benefits of this item and then not have it linked back to them in real life. Some people even literally ship items like a brand new TV to a rundown house in the middle of.
That's one thing about it. That's what I call crackhead scams, where you literally have to buy items to resell it. And that's kind of what they're doing with the Klarna method that's going on right now. The viral Klarna method, where people are using get now, pay later. And they got a credit limit for $10,000. So they go to these stores in different places and they use up this $10,000 credit limit. And they don't gotta even pay. They just getting the products up front and they don't gotta pay. And then they reselling the products to get, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And this stuff is going on people's credit profiles and credit scores and things like that. And they're not even thinking about that. People are silly. People don't think, just like they didn't think when it was the Chase bank glitch and people was depositing fake checks into their own account. Like people don't really think. Like people are, it's a lot of people in the world that don't have common sense at all. And it shows by the things that people do. Actions speak louder than words. You can say anything that you want, but your actions are going to tell you the truth. And there's a lot of people in this world that lack common sense. Like, what common sense will think for you to think that you can actually deposit a fake check into your own bank account and be scot-free? Like, come on now, make it make sense. What would make you think that you can finance? Finance means that you're borrowing money and not have to pay it back and be scot-free. People don't understand that. So now people are saying, you know what? I ain't finna do it under my name. I'm finna put it under somebody else's name. So now they do who gotta blah blah blah, buying people's information off the dark web and utilizing that information and open up Klarna accounts to get these products and resell it. Crackhead scams.
Nowhere that no one actually lives in. And then once this 4K OLED 77-inch TV with a soundbar arrives at their house that's worth less than the soundbar, the FedEx driver is like, oh, this is weird. It's a pretty expensive TV to be dropping off at a house that no one lives at, but I'm just doing my job. He takes his photo and then walks away. The scammer runs up, snatches the item, and takes it back to his actual house where he could use it, or he could just end up selling it for a lot cheaper to buy a lot more stolen credit cards and continue this cycle.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. That's because Asana.
But in reality, a lot of these guys that are hacking or scamming on the internet don't like to get their hands dirty in real life. And so they actually just spend all their money on something digital online. Like maybe, I don't know, 1,000 copies of a brand new game that just released on Steam. And then once he buys those game keys, he could possibly, this actually does happen, by the way, he goes to a site that sells game keys for really cheap that maybe a lot of you use and don't even know how it's even possible. He buys each game for $70, but in reality, it's $0. And then he ends up selling it to this game key website for about $50. They take their cut, and then you would, as the consumer, might go and buy it for like $55. So technically, it's legal. It's totally legal for you to buy this because it's not you that's doing the credit card scamming. But in reality, like everyone knows that you're buying these game keys from people that did credit card fraud to actually get them. Otherwise, there's no way that they can get them cheaper than anybody else on the internet, right? From the scammer's perspective, if he goes and buys a bunch of game keys off of Steam with stolen credit cards, and then he sells it to a game key site, he makes about $50 per item that it sells. And by the way, it's fully passive. He just has the keys, and immediately as someone purchases, it automatically has some sort of custom code that sends the game key to the buyer, and the seller doesn't have to do anything after he commits that initial form of fraud. People do this a lot, by the way. But now, since these dark web scammers steal all this money and they have it just sitting there in their crypto wallets, or I should say dirty crypto wallets, because since Bitcoin wallets are public, anyone can see what's happening on the blockchain. You can look up someone.
Now, crypto scams and fraud is definitely on the rise. Also, you got a lot of people doing the rug pull, a lot of people doing crypto lows, crypto trade, meme coins, a lot of different things that's going on in the scam or the crypto world right now. And a lot of people are becoming rich, especially kids, because it's a lot of kids that's interested in this type of stuff, and they on the computer all day, every day. So that's all they gonna see. So by them only seeing this is what they gonna learn, and they making some money with it. So
this crypto wallet online and see every transaction that wallet has made. You can't really see who owns the wallet unless they're really dumb and they put it on like an exchange, but you can see every transaction that has taken place. And so it only takes a matter of time for a scammer to slip up, either receiving money from a friend, sending money to someone that they shouldn't have, for the government to have their crypto wallet flagged and then immediately find out who's behind the wallet. And so scammers are always worried, like, oh, I just did all this fraud and all this bad stuff, and now I have all of these millions of dollars sitting in a wallet that I can't really even use because the government is watching it so closely. If I go buy a car with the Bitcoin, they're going to find out it's me. If I buy basically anything besides maybe something digital online, it's really easy to tell who's behind that wallet. So what they do instead is they try to clean their dirty wallets. This is called mixing. And there's a ton of websites across the dark web and the regular internet that people use to send all of their dirty money that they got from really bad illegal activities. They send all that money over to this mixing website. And then that service basically sends it through and out and in of 100 other different wallets so many times, to a point where it's so confusing, it's so mixed up, you can't even tell where anything even came from. And the scammer tells the site, hey, all of this money that I give you, now send all of it back to this clean wallet that has nothing to even do with me. And then that's how they end up getting all their money in a place that they could actually spend it. Now, sometimes this even gets so complex where the mixing services only send you maybe 30% of the money that you gave them. And then 6 months later, they'll give you the other 20%, another 20%, and little by little until you have the full amount that you first sent them. So that doesn't all go right away into one wallet, which would pretty much be a red flag. This way, it's really, really hard to tell what just happened. The wallet is no longer tied to their illegal activity and would be extremely hard to tell where the money even came from to incriminate the scammer. The scammers use this new fresh money to actually buy things and cash out and to live their lavish lifestyle because nobody could really tell where that money came from. But last year, a really popular Bitcoin mixer got taken down and its website now looks like this. The U.S. Department of Justice posted that they had facilitated over $100 million in money laundering transactions from illegal dark web markets, such as the Silk Road and the Hydra market. By the way, I have a full video coming out soon about those marketplaces where it's a deep dive explaining everything about them. So that's coming out next month. Subscribe for that. But the real question is, how did these credit cards even end up on the dark web to begin with?
Easy.
I understand how people could.
Now, people know how credit cards end up on the dark web. And like I tell you guys all the time, people are the ones who are controlling this information, and people are the ones who are stealing the information. So people controlling, people stealing, they just going to end up in all different type of places. So it's a lot of different ways people get a hold of this type of information to be able to sell it on the dark web.
Buy them, but who puts them there from the start? It all starts off with a group of hackers. Basically, anybody that's a Black Hat hacker across the entire world has methods of collecting a ton of credit cards that some are honestly really, really genius. And since you're watching this, I'll show you some ways that you can actually defend yourself from having your own credit card end up on the dark web. The first method is called digital skimming. They hack online shops by sneaking their code into a website, either by hacking the site directly or infecting a script that the site uses to run ads, for an example, or put a chat widget on their site that they instead hack that. So basically, as long as their malicious code is anywhere on that checkout page, you are cooked. As the user, you're checking out all of the info that you're typing in plain text is immediately sent over to that hacker. It means your full name, your card details, your billing address, which the scammers will actually use to make a full list and document and actually go through and sell to people on the dark web. The hackers also use something called POS malware, which actually infects the credit card reader inside of regular stores in real life that you may go to. So they infect these machines to do something called RAM scraping, where it's able to find the full card details unencrypted before it even gets sent off and processed to make sure that it's you that actually owns that card. You can't even tell when this is happening because your order actually does go through as normal, but the hacker was listening the entire time and just collecting cards all day long nonstop. Imagine they do this to 20 different stores every day. They're just collecting thousands of cards by doing nothing, just passively. Another method is called skimming. Unlike digital skimming, this is something that you can actually do something about. Whenever you're putting your credit card either in an ATM or a vending machine in real life, hackers sometimes place a device on top of the reader that looks like it's directly a part of the machine. And sometimes it's stuck on so well you can't even tell. People post examples of this online all the time, showing how in busy cities or
skimmers are, and I tell you guys about skimmers all the time. Skimmers are in places that you wouldn't even think. ATMs just like that, keypads, Walmarts, Targets, POS machines, basically POS machines, gas station pumps, and things like that. So you got to be on the lookout and be cautious of places when you're using your card, because that's how you be getting people get their card information stolen, and they be like, "Oh, well, it's set up for us to get it stolen because most places don't even take cash no more. So we got to use our card, and this card information be on the system, and it's just like, wow, you're making us vulnerable."
They find a skimmer device that was collecting people's card info this entire time, even at like a gas station pump sometimes. Just make sure before you ever insert your credit card that it doesn't look like there's a device sitting on top of the device. You could try to like maybe twist it or pull it a little bit to make sure that it's not actually, a skimmer. But honestly, these are also still really hard to figure out, because if it's made perfectly where it fits in, it's flush, and it's glued on so tight you can't even tell, there's not too much that you could do. And then there's the occasional data breach, where a hacker will literally break in and steal tens of thousands of credit cards and be able to go for months without anybody actually even noticing. This happens all the time. I'm pretty sure in the US in this last year, a data breach happened that exposed every single citizen's SSN number. And so a lot of this stuff you really can't do anything about.
Crazy.
So one of the only methods, honestly, the method that I use a lot, is whenever you're paying for something online, I'd really recommend using something like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, or even PayPal at checkout, because instead of actually typing in your credit card info one by one into an infected site, it's much, much safer because your card is actually just stored with Apple or Google. And then whenever you press purchase, Google tells the merchant what your card is, and it doesn't ever actually happen on plain text on that site. So the hacker isn't able to listen in and steal your card information. Now, these hackers have tons of credit cards coming in through various different methods. It's like a passive income method. And then they end up just selling all of these credit cards to a vendor on the dark web that buys them, and then that vendor would start to redistribute them and sell them like a man in the middle or some sort of shopkeeper, because real hackers don't have time for all that. They just want to, make their money, grab their credit cards, dump it, and just keep on moving on to their next project.
I'm optimizing my Amazon PPC campaigns, but I could use a little help with AI. All right, AI, now get to work.
So one of the easiest ways to also stay protected is to never use your debit card and put every single purchase that you possibly can on a credit card. It's actually a really smart tip. You're probably not going to hear from anybody else online. And it's because you want to purposely keep the amount of money in your checking account as low as possible and put the rest of your money in your savings. This way, God forbid, if your debit card ever does get stolen or someone hacks it online, they can only steal the amount of money that's already in your checking account and nothing more. You have a couple $100 in there, it's not the end of the world. But if you have all of your money in a checking account and someone gets that card, you are cooked. Now, on most banking apps, you can do something called an internal transfer. So you can send money from your savings account to your checking account within just a few seconds. So if you ever really need to spend the money, you can do that just by doing an internal transfer, pay with your debit card, and then keep your balance in your checking account as low as humanly possible. You could, if worst case scenario, you could dispute a debit card charge, and maybe your bank might help you out depending on how fast you dispute it and how fast you realize. But the chances of you actually getting your money back once it leaves your bank account is really, really low. In the USA, there's something called the Fair Credit Billing Act, which is a federal law that gives you the right to dispute unauthorized charges. And basically every single credit card issuer in this country has to give you that right. Some credit cards do a better job than others when it comes to disputing and getting your money back to your account. Amex and Discover are some of the best in the country, to be honest. They have the best customer service, and they're really good at disputes, especially when it comes to you being scammed or your card getting stolen. And a lot of these dark web scammers know that. They know that the consumer really isn't going to end up losing the money. They're just going to call their credit card and they're going to get all their money back. And so they know that they're not going to really actually financially be hurting you. And so who they're actually hurting is the merchant, because whenever you dispute it and you get your cash back, the merchant is the one that loses the money on the TV that they just sold you or the 1,000 game keys on Steam. So whoever sells the item ends up having to lose all the money that the scammer just took from them. Now, if the merchants are smart, nowadays, a lot of times they actually make you verify with something called 3D Secure. So you probably notice if you're making a really big purchase, sometimes you'll see a pop-up that comes up saying verify with Visa Secure or American Express SafeKey, where it sends a 2FA code to the phone number that's linked to the credit card account. So it verifies that it's actually the owner making this purchase. And then a new system came out recently called 3D Secure 2.0 that does a full risk assessment on every single buyer before making them do the verification challenge. So their software is always asking questions like, does your IP address match your billing city? Have you ever used this device or this IP address to make a purchase before?
And this
is this type of device a device that you typically make a purchase on? The time of day that you're buying this, is this normal for you to be buying a TV at 4 a.m, or is this kind of sus? And basically, if they have to raise their eyebrow at any of these questions, they'll make you go through and do a 2FA challenge to verify that it's actually you making this purchase and you are who you say you are. Now, whenever this does happen, the scammers know that they're cooked. They can't buy anything that's that expensive. So they're really slick with how they spend the money to avoid getting caught by 3D Secure 2.0. Now, some of these sites that supposedly sell this sketchy stuff try to win over your trust by showing you a lot of 5-star reviews and testimonials from past customers. They put it all over their page, all over their business to build trust and to actually just drive more business. And it's funny because that's exactly what real businesses do. If you were to look up any business on Google, for example, whether it's a salon or a restaurant, they're always ranked by how many 5-star reviews that they get and what people are saying about them online. This is actually so important to them that just being ranked at number 1 on Google could bring them in over $4,000 to $5,000 per month.
Definitely.
And since people
that's what a lot of scammers do. They buy like fake comments and fake stuff like that, body it up to make it seem like their business is good, to like trick people into coming to buy and doing business with them. So it's real tricky out here. The world is real tricky out here. You got to think about it. Drake using bots to like inflate the perception. So it's getting real out here.
Actually seeing them and calling them first, they get a lot more traction that way. This is actually what I do as my full-time income for local businesses. I charge my clients over $1,000 per month, and I install marketing systems that automatically bring them in more 5-star Google reviews daily. It responds to the reviews using AI, which Google likes to see, and we automatically bring back their past customers with a text message automation. And once I get this set up, the AI continues to do the rest of the work for me. The software that I actually use to do all of this is called High Level. They're also the sponsor of this video. These are systems that I actually use myself to get local businesses more customers and increase their revenue within the first month of signing up with me. And I charge them a recurring subscription every single month going forward. You can try High Level out for yourself for an entire month for free. I'll teach you everything that you need to know, and you can actually land your first client in the free trial. Click the link down below to learn more about High Level. Some other people profit on the dark web by taking a more dangerous and hands-on approach. I actually spoke to someone who admitted to doing this in a previous video where I actually called people on the dark web.
What brings you on the dark web this fine evening?
In the darknet, I buy trucks and then I sell them in real life.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my God. How much money have you made doing that?
A lot.
So people actually buy illegal substances on the dark web. There are real marketplaces that do exist. They just don't last for that long before the owner ever gets put in prison or gets pardoned by a US president, which we'll talk about a different time. But some people order these illegal substances, and then when they arrive in regular packaging, it looks totally normal, even sometimes like an Amazon box. So what he was doing was actually buying these substances online and selling them in real life for a profit.
That's what a lot of people do.
This is probably one of the worst, most dangerous ways to make money on the dark web, or even in real life. Because not only are you breaking the law with the government and you have them after you, but you're also breaking the law of the street and selling drugs in an area where you might not have authority in the hood could actually get you chased down by gangs. And this stuff really does exist, and they might end up, taking you out. And so either you're being chased by the government or you're being chased by the gangs in your area. It's honestly one of the worst lives that you can ever live. On these marketplaces, people also sell logins. I've also come across listings where people were selling 100 Netflix accounts or PayPal accounts. But when it comes to something like streaming services like Netflix or HBO, a lot of these people actually crack down on whoever's using their software. Like Netflix has been going hard lately.
Hard in the paint.
Share a login to your cousin that lives a block away from you. It's going to be even
Bro,
hard to do
buy
that.
anything
So I'm
on
not
the
too
dark
sure
web,
how
really.
that works on the dark web
Anything you
anymore.
want to buy, anything
Now
you want
that
to
you
get your
can't even
hands on.
share logins to a different household. They usually track down your IP address and make it so, okay, this is the IP of a single household. If we see you logging into Netflix anywhere else that's not this house, we're going to make you go through this super long process and even make you pay some more money to get more devices set up on your account. And so the dark web might not be able to even sell these anymore after they started cracking down that hard. But when it comes to selling PayPal accounts or Venmo accounts, Cash App, even bank accounts, people do allegedly sell that on the dark web. I've never heard of anybody really admit to it being real, because I'm not sure how that even works. Like, how do you log into somebody else's account when they have probably 2FA on their phone? It's going to be a really big job. And I think it's just a lot more convenient for these hackers to go after cards and not to go after logins. But they sell it somewhere on the dark web. I don't know how profitable it is, but it's sold. I don't know for sure who's behind these honeypot websites on the dark web, but these sites are fake. These are the sites that everyone on YouTube goes to and gets creeped out by and post it like, oh my God, hire a hitman, hire a hacker. These are sites that have been up since I first entered the dark web when I was 12 years old. So that was like 12 years ago. And they're still up till this day, which means that they're not real. Otherwise, the government would have taken them down.
We ain't really talking about nothing. So yeah, the dark web got a lot going on. You can find a lot of things on the dark web. You can see a lot of things on the dark web. You can potentially buy a lot of things on the dark web. So it's all about staying more safe, staying more cautious, and being more aware of what's going on out there, because this is real life. Things are happening. And if you don't know what's happening, you could become a victim. So like I said, Norton LifeLock, make sure you guys are getting your Norton LifeLock, protecting all your accounts from financial to social media, and it will monitor the dark web to make sure none of your information is floating around on there for scammers or hackers to be able to buy it and utilize it in some type of scam or fraud. Also, make sure you guys are freezing your credit profiles on Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So if it's frozen, nobody can get anything in your name from cars, loans, credit cards, etc., etc. And with these debit and credit cards, we use them all day, every day. Once we use them, they are now stored in the system on this database that are always being compromised, hacked. So with that being said, make sure you guys are every so often changing your debit and credit card numbers, getting new cards and new numbers. So if it was a leak or hacker compromise where the old information was on there, you won't be affected. Nothing will happen because you have new information. That information is no longer valid. All right. So make sure you guys stay more safe. Make sure you guys stay more cautious and always be more aware of what's going on out here in this crazy world. All right. So shout out to all my real King Hussle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, because without y'all be no me. Y'all motivate me keep going. Y'all motivate me keep dropping the sauce, and y'all motivate me keep y'all entertained. So shout out to all of y'all. Anybody out there that's tired of being broke, because it ain't no joke. Let's get to work. FaceTime 101 limited gems are $1,000, but for limited time only, I'm doing them for $600. Yes, $600 Cash App or Bitcoin payment. Once the $600 is on your Cash App or Bitcoin balance, send me a screenshot. Let me know your payment ready, and we will go from there. All right, no screenshots, no replies, no 21 questions, and please do not yell me. Also, make sure you guys book y'all seat on the webinars Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 10 seats available, $250. Ask me anything y'all want to ask me. Let's get to work. Let's have fun. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the crypto tour in person limited gems, $3,500, $500 deposit, the rest of money meet in person. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the month-long mentorship, $2,500, 30 days. Anything you need help with, let's get to work. Make sure y'all checking out my vendor platforms on Telegram and the Potato App, me and your network. Still look for people for the production company. Make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell on my YouTube channels, my Twitches, my TikToks, and my IGs. Make sure y'all checking out the crypto world because it's changing people's lives. And with that being said, it's your boy King Hussle. Y'all know how I get down in these videos. I'll see you at the next lesson, video, or live. Peace.